Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to speak in support of Senator Toomey's amendment and to point out some of the things about the Ex-Im Bank that are important for the taxpayers to know. I know as a businessman that if I could get a guaranteed loan, I would take it in a second. I don't blame companies that are interested in lower rate financing. But as congressmen and senators and as the President of the United States, our job is to protect taxpayers. And we're forgetting in this debate that when we guarantee a loan, we are signing the taxpayers' names to a loan guarantee. And in the real world, if an individual or a business guarantees a loan, that is a liability to them, a very real liability. And we're not just talking about the Ex-Im Bank. The taxpayers of this country are now liable for about $1 trillion worth of loans for student loans, trillions of dollars for mortgages, and other loan guarantees and insurance. We cannot continue to pass these bills without realizing that someday these bills are going to come due, and the folks across this country are going to have to pay them. We were promised when Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were making all these loans that it was good for the taxpayer, that we're making money we couldn't lose. But the taxpayers have lost billions of dollars. And now as we continue to guarantee loans around the world, in some of the countries these loans are going to now are on the watch list by Moody's and other rating services because the financial situation in Europe and all across the world is more and more strained. We cannot assume that this money is coming back to the taxpayer. We've probably heard already from some of the speakers that the Export-Import Bank was started many decades ago during Franklin Roosevelt's administration. And there was a limit on how much could be lent. It was $3.5 million. But we know how government works and how government grows. The bill we're considering this week is not in the millions, it's in the billions. And it's not 3 or 4 billion, it's $140 billion of loan guarantees to American companies that are selling overseas. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't help American companies who want to sell here in America, which means much of the domestic market for our products is financed at a higher rate. It's only the rest of the world, and we're the biggest consuming market in the world. This is not an idea that we should continue in America. We're in a bidding war with China and Europe to see who can subsidize the most loans at a time when all of us are broke. We need to bring this to a close. Senator Toomey's amendment is a logical way to proceed. The World Trade Organization is set up to make sure there's a level playing field and that we're not subsidizing imports and exports. But this is a very real subsidy and a very real risk to the American people. Let's begin the process of taking away this excuse of why we need to subsidize them. The excuse is always we have to do it because they're doing it. But as a world trading organization, we need to take down these subsidies and phase them out. We can do that and decrease the amount of money that the American taxpayer is liable for. It's common sense, and hopefully my colleagues will support it today. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield back.